Now, I don't know about you, but me, personally, when I'm drafting my fantasy football team, I like to picture myself as Thanos, right? I got on my Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm just dropping in powerful pieces one at a time. But let's be honest with each other. When we're drafting here during our fantasy football drafts, we should all have the same goal in mind. It's to assemble a super team. So what did I do? Well, I spent an unhealthy amount of hours mock drafting, trying to build some teams that were full of players that I love here in 2023. I then took the teams that I assembled and I showed them to the guys here on our staff. I had them rank each team 1 through 10, 10 being the best team, the one that they liked the most. But if I'm being honest, I want to know what you think. Because having to talk to Kyle and Ethan as much as I have to, it's kind of like having jock itch. It's consistently irritating, and I just want it to end. So what I've done is assigned each one of these teams a hashtag so you, the viewer, can vote down below in the comment section on which team you like the most. Speaking of you, though, I think it's time that together we head over to Underdog Fantasy and start to put in a few options that could win us some money this year. If you don't have an account already, that's okay. You can set one up right after this video. Head over to Underdog Fantasy, create a new account, use the referral code Headliners, or click the link down below in the description. Once you do that and then make your initial minimum deposit of only $10, we're gonna match your deposit all the way up to $100 if you so choose. But I'm also gonna give you a free 2023 fantasy football draft guide so you can absolutely kill it in all of your leagues this year. Now, personally, I'm going over to Underdog right now, and I was looking at some of the NFL season-long pick'ems that they have, and I think I've put together a pretty good slip. So I put together a 5-player pick'em here, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for you to see as well. I'm going with Juju Smith-Schuster higher than 725.5 receiving yards. Jacoby Myers is gone. There's a lot of targets available. They didn't get DeAndre Hopkins. They have Bill O'Brien there to try to bring Mac Jones along a little bit. Love the volume, love the potential for Juju to only go over 725.5 yards. How about A.J. Dillon higher than 700.5 rushing yards? That's a number he's pretty much been close to each and every year, and now they're going to rely even more heavily on the running game with no Aaron Rodgers. Give me the higher there. Miles Sanders, higher than a half a receiving touchdown. Dude only needs one on the year for this one to hit. Now, just because he hasn't caught a lot of passes in Philly the last few years doesn't mean he's not capable of it. He 100% is, and now is in an offense in Carolina where they're going to utilize that a little bit more, so I'm taking the higher there. What about Tyler Higbee? I'm going to go higher than 499.5. This guy was top 5 at the position last year in targets. We know there's not a whole lot to really throw to in Los Angeles after Cooper Kupp. We're going to see a lot of Tyler Higbee again. 499.5, I'm taking the higher. And then Nick Chubb, I'm also going to go higher than a half a receiving touchdown as well. No more Kareem Hunt. A lot of rumors out there that Nick Chubb is going to be a little bit more involved in the passing game, and he only needs 1 receiving touchdown for this to hit. So if this is something you feel comfortable with, like I said, links down below in the description. Come play with us on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to be doing it all year long and going to have a lot of fun. But all right, let's look at some of these teams now. Let's see which ones you guys like. Now, you're going to be able to see the roster construction and what pick they were selected at, but these are very doable lineups, and like I said, they're filled with guys that I absolutely love this year. Now remember, whichever team you like the most, type that hashtag down below in the comment section. If this video can get over 1,000 likes, I'm going to give away a free draft guide to somebody down below in the comment section. So hit that like button, leave those comments as this video is going, and let's look at some of these teams. Now let's kick it off right here with team number 1. Now, if you like this team after I go through it, you're going to comment down below, hashtag my Chubb hurts, because Jalen Hurts is the quarterback on this team. Took him in the 3rd round. Nick Chubb in the 1st at the 108. Love some Nick Chubb this year. The volume is going to be huge. He's a safe, reliable running back, somebody you can really build around. Miles Sanders, another high upside guy, is the running back too. Got A.J. Brown in the 2nd round here, so I stacked A.J. Brown with Jalen Hurts. Got Terry McLaurin, somebody who I feel is very underrated this year. Darren Waller could be a red zone threat there in New York. Deontay Johnson soaking up targets once again in Pittsburgh, and we have to think, he's got to find a touchdown at some point this year. Couldn't do it last year. You have to expect they're going to come back here in 2023. Then we went Jets and Sanders at defense and kicker. And then on the bench, Antonio Gibson of the Washington Commandos. Damian Harris in Buffalo now. Could he have a Jamal Williams-esque type of season there in Buffalo, where he doesn't get a huge amount of volume, but he gets very good volume around the goal line? Nico Collins. A lot of people want to talk about Tank Dell or other people there in Houston, Dalton Schultz. Nico Collins probably going to lead this team in targets, a team that's going to be throwing the ball a lot. Got Nico Collins there on my bench with Sky Moore. Get used to seeing the name Sky Moore. He's going to be all over the damn place for me here this offseason. Took him in the 11th round. And probably going to be one of the top receiving options in Kansas City. Kadarius Toney is already banged up. MVS is a one-trick pony that's going to go deep down the field. Everybody wants to talk about Rashee Rice. We already know that Andy Reid doesn't overutilize rookies unless he absolutely has to. And unless Kadarius Toney misses an extended amount of time, we probably won't see a whole lot of Rashee Rice. Love me some Sky Moore. Tyler Higbee as a backup tight end. Didn't get one of the top elite tight ends, the top 3 or 4 guys. So I'm usually going to go with 2 tight ends in a situation like that. And then I ended up with Jerome Ford in the 14th round. As of right now, the number 2 guy in Cleveland. He's going to have a role every single week still, but Nick Chubb going to dominate those touches. If anything happens to Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford about to be a beast. So that's team number 1 if you like it. Hashtag my Chubb hurts down below. Next team, how about hashtag King of the Hill if you like this one. I have Kirk Cousins as my quarterback, very underrated fantasy quarterback. He's just one of those consistent performers at the quarterback position, somebody you can rely on pretty much every single week to give you a solid outing. Maybe he doesn't have the overwhelmingly high ceilings that some of the other quarterbacks on these teams may have, but he's definitely consistent for sure. Also got Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones as the running backs on these teams. Derrick Henry's still going to be utilized, and now having DeAndre Hopkins in that offense is only going to take defenders outside of the box. That has to help King Henry. Aaron Jones, love Aaron Jones this year. One of my favorite running backs to draft in 2023. Going to be very, very heavily relied upon in this offense with Jordan Love under center. Also got Tyreek Hill as my first round pick. Dude saying he wants to go out and catch 2,000 yards. If he's on my fantasy team, I'm cool with that. How about Keenan Allen as my wide receiver too? Maybe not a flashy name. A lot of people really hopping off the Keenan Allen bandwagon, but he's a definite consistent wide receiver too, easy on this team. I also have Terry McLaurin as my flex play, so we have some added flexibility at the wide receiver position. At the tight end went Pat Freiermuth there of Pittsburgh. You know, he's going to see some consistent targets each and every week. Got the Cowboys and Justin Tucker. You can see I still like to get a high-end defense and kicker. I'll tell people maybe why here towards the end of the video. Actually, I'll just tell you right now. Usually what I like to do is maybe like 1 round early before everybody starts taking the defenses and the kickers off the boards there towards the end of the draft. I may go a round early and take my guys that I want a little bit earlier, and then I'll take my sleeper guys with my very last pick. So that's kind of why you're going to see some higher end defenses and kickers for all of these teams. On the bench, Isaiah Pacheco. Huge potential upside. And as of right now on this team, he's the running back 3 because we already have Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones. Got Mike Evans as my wide receiver 4. Thank you very much. Because I went with Aaron Jones, I got A.J. Dillon as well. He's somebody who's going to have flex appeal each and every week. And if something happens to Aaron Jones, boom. We got Juju Smith-Schuster here on the bench. Gonna see a ton of targets, and he's my wide receiver 5. Then we got Van Jefferson. He could be one of the top targets in LA. I really believe that Cooper Kupp's probably gonna be option 1, 2, and 3. Then Tyler Higbee, and then Van Jefferson. And then lastly, went with Pierre Strong. Don't forget about Pierre Strong in New England. They really don't have another running back there to take away volume from Ramondre Stevenson outside of Pierre Strong. That's the guy that I'm getting as a late round stash just to see what happens. But that'll take us now to team number 3, the hashtag for this team. Hashtag iffy RBs. And not RBs like the sandwiches RBs. I'm talking about the letters RB. How about the quarterback? We got Justin Fields here. So obviously a high ceiling quarterback with Najee Harris and Isaiah Pacheco as the starting running backs. Do I absolutely love that? Not really, but I still think they're 2 solid options. We really need Isaiah Pacheco to pop in this offense, right? Because we know Najee's going to need huge volume. He's just not overly efficient, so we're going to need something big from Pacheco. But where this team could really make up a lot of points is at the wide receiver position, because it's got Justin Jefferson and Chris Olave. We also have DJ Moore in the flex spot as of right now, and I get a lot of people off the DJ Moore bandwagon. I still love DJ Moore because he can be the third option on my team at the wide receiver position, and the potential upside is huge. He's going to be utilized all over the field, in the slot, on the outside, maybe even out of the backfield at times. Chicago doesn't have some solidified stud running back. It's going to be a committee. It's going to be Justin Fields, but don't be surprised if we see DJ Moore a little bit there as well. We got Evan Ingram there at the tight end position, another high upside guy that really had a huge 2022, right? Maybe we see a slight downtick in targets with the addition of Calvin Ridley, but still a solid tight end. We got the Eagles and McPherson there at defense and kicker. On the bench, we got David Montgomery and Samaje Perine. Now, all the reports are coming out about Javonte Williams and how he may avoid the pup and he could be ready for week 1. I've said this in other videos. There's a difference between being ready to play week 1 and being ready to produce week 1. This dude tore like every ligament in his knee. I'm not all of a sudden just going to say Javonte Williams is good to go. Plus, like I said in multiple videos all year, Sean Payton is used to using 2 running backs in his system. We saw it in the past with Kamara and Ingram. Perine gonna have a role regardless. David Montgomery, what do you think is gonna happen if Jahmyr Gibbs goes down? David Montgomery may be a league winner for people. Got him in the 7th round. Juju once again for that target share in the 9th round. Sky Moore, once again, like I said, you're going to see a lot of Sky Moore. He's definitely a name I'm getting close to those double-digit rounds every single draft that I can. We also have Zeke Elliott on the bench. Took a stab on Zeke late just due to the iffy running back situations. What if Zeke goes somewhere and does get an immediate role? What if he does, for whatever reason, go back to Dallas? Now, obviously, Zeke isn't some top 12 running back, but on this roster, as like the running back 4 or 5, I'll take a shot, and then hopefully we end up maybe with a running back 2 somewhere if needed. And then lastly, Mike Gesicki went with another tight end. If you're not totally sold on Evan Ingram, like we said, we may have some questions about the amount of targets he's going to get. So Mike Gesicki, a high upside tight end play in New England. Bill O'Brien used to utilize that 2 tight end system all the time there. We saw it in the past with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Mike Gesicki could be that guy in a similar type role this year. All right, next team number 4, hashtag what could be. At quarterback, we have Joe Burrow. At running back, we got Bijan Robinson and Miles Sanders. A lot of people out there drooling over Bijan Robinson. Will I always take him this early? No. But in this instance, some of the other high-end, running backs and wide receivers came off the board, and I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Overall, I didn't hate the team, though. We know Miles Sanders is going to have that 3-down role in Carolina, going to have an opportunity, maybe like he hasn't seen so far in his career. Garrett Wilson and Terry McLaurin at wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, all these clips are starting to come out, and people are going absolutely crazy about Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be a top 10 guy for me, probably for sure. But Garrett Wilson here paired with Terry McLaurin, who still has that high upside, I couldn't pass it up. Tight end Evan Ingram, once again, got him all the way in the 9th round. Then we got Deontay Johnson for the targets at the flex, right? We're trying to get touches. We need our flex spot to get touches so we can score points. We need that consistent point score at our flex spot. Defense, we got the Cowboys and Tyler Bass. And then on the bench, we got Alvin Kamara, Samaje Perine, and Tyler Algier. 3 running backs right there at the top of the bench. Now, with Bijan Robinson, if I draft Bijan Robinson, you better damn believe I will walk out of that draft with Tyler Algier as well. They are so unbelievably valuable to each other that I have to have both of them. If I'm taking Bijan, I have to handcuff him. That's just what I'm going to throw out there right now. We have Samaje Perine again, we've already talked about, and then Alvin Kamara. What if Alvin Kamara only gets suspended 2, 3, maybe 4 games? This guy could be my weekly flex play on my team. He could be my running back 2 if Deontay Johnson's balling out. We have options there, right? We see Sky Moore again on this bench. Kareem Hunt, this is kind of where I took a stab similar to Zeke Elliott. Kareem Hunt definitely could find himself in a role somewhere. And as my running back, 5 or 6 on this roster, what do you really have to lose? And then lastly, Isaiah Hodgins out of New York still could be the most consistent wide receiver each and every week for the Giants. Is he going to have an overly high ceiling? Probably not, but still somebody safe and consistent in the 15th. Which will then take us to team number 5, hashtag sky's the limit. I think you know where we're going here. At quarterback, we got Justin Herbert, because right now I'm feeling damn fancy. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I am. Justin Herbert there in the 4th round. The running backs, we got Aaron Jones and Isaiah Pacheco. Love Aaron Jones, mentioned that. Isaiah Pacheco, kind of that lottery ticket hopeful. Got him in the 6th round. but I love the wide receivers here. We got Cooper Kupp and Jalen Waddle as my wide receiver 1 and 2. That's enough to make you go 6 to midnight in a heartbeat. Tons of potential right there. Potentially 2 top 10 to 12 guys at my wide receiver position. A high upside tight end and David Njoku got him in the 11th with Deontay Johnson once again in my flex. The Jets McPherson, but look at my bench. We got Dalvin Cook. What if Dalvin Cook goes to Miami? All of a sudden, I can start Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Cooper Kupp, and Jalen Waddle, and I'm going to be pretty freaking excited. Also got A.J. Dillon once again on the bench, being that I had Aaron Jones. Michael Thomas on the bench here as well. What if Michael Thomas returns to anything similar to what we saw back in like ages ago, 2019? Michael Thomas could be my flex play, and if he's getting peppered with targets down the field from Derek Carr, that could be a huge potential lottery ticket right there. Sky Moore, once again, can't say the name enough. Zeke Elliott as my late round stab there. And then Mike Gesicki in the 15th once again. And just in case something happens to David Njoku, I have Mike Gesicki to really let it play out a couple weeks. Which one of these guys is going to have the bigger role? Which one of these guys can I look at as being more consistent? That's the guy I would go with. All right, team number 6 here. How about we go hashtag balls to the Waller if you like this one down below. This one has Tua as the quarterback, Ramondre Stevenson season part due at my running back 1 with Aaron Jones, who, yes, I still love a lot this year. I paired up Tyreek Hill with Tua. I got the stack here, the Dolphins stack in this team number 6. For my wide receiver 2, it's Calvin Ridley. A lot of people don't think he can play football anymore. I'm telling you, dude can still play football, and he's in a great offense in Jacksonville. Darren Waller is my tight end, my flex. Do I love it? It's DeAndre Swift. I don't love it because we really haven't seen what DeAndre Swift is capable of, but we have a solid bench there just in case. We got the Niners and Joseph at defense and kicker. I got Michael Thomas here. He could be a potential flex if he balls out. Damian Harris, if he's scoring touchdowns left and right in Buffalo, he's a solid flex play. Sky Moore, once again. Donovan Peoples-Jones could be that deep threat in Cleveland. Is he going to be consistently safe? Probably not, being that they drafted Cedric Tillman. They brought over Elijah Moore. We still have Amari Cooper there, but still a guy that can put up big points as a bye-week fill-in if needed. Pierre Strong, going to take Pierre Strong, to back up Ramondre Stevenson just in case. And then once again, Mike Gesicki at the end. All right, team 7. And for team number 7, we're going to call it hashtag more Doomtar down below if you like this team. And if you have no idea what Doomtar is, you missed a great live stream at some point last season when someone's autocorrect took a Mon Ra and changed it to Doomtar in the chat. All right, but we got Dak Prescott at quarterback with Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook. So already right here off the bat, if Dalvin Cook goes somewhere with a huge role in a good situation, loving the start. But then we have Jamar Chase and Amon Ra St. Brown. That right there, that's enough to almost make you drool if Dalvin Cook gets an immediate role somewhere. Then we have Pat Freiermuth, DJ Moore at my flex play for the upside, with Cowboys and Koo at defense and kicker. On the bench, we got Pacheco. We got Alvin Kamara. So just in case Cook doesn't fall into a good situation, we have a Pacheco and a Kamara on the bench. Elijah Moore could see those slot targets in Cleveland with Sky Moore once again, going double more here. You can probably see why their name is in the hashtag. Then we have Tyler Higbee as the backup tight end and Jerome Ford here on the bench in the 14th round. It was getting a little bit slim. Why not take a stab on a guy who's the direct backup to Nick Chubb? And then lastly, team number 8. This team's hashtag, if you love it, put it down below, is hashtag Olave this lineup, because I kind of love this lineup as well. Quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. A lot of people's pick to break out this year at the position. Mine included. I love Trevor Lawrence this year. At running back, Nick Chubb. Love that. And Dalvin Cook. Once again, as you can see in a lot of these scenarios, I'm banking on Dalvin Cook where his ADP is at right now. Once he signs somewhere, the ADP is going to skyrocket. You can see I'm getting him right around the 5th round in most of these scenarios. And if you can grab Dalvin Cook in the 5th round, I don't think I can pass it up because he's going to play football somewhere and he's going to play for a contender more than likely in 2023. But look at the wide receivers. Dear Lord. Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave with DJ Moore as the flex. Evan Ingram at tight end. We got the Patriots and Bass at the defense and kicker. And then the bench is stacked. We got Isaiah Pacheco, so somebody to fill in just in case Dalvin Cook doesn't, along with Damian Harris. Michael Thomas, once again, could turn out to be the flex with Sky Moore, Tyler Higbee, and Kareem Hunt. I love the way that lineup came out. And as you can see, a lot of these lineups are going to be pretty similar. And that's on purpose. Remember, I was trying to put together teams, realistic teams, that are filled with as many players that I can possibly get that I really love in 2023. So what I did is I took all these teams, I sent them to all the guys, and I said, hey, rank all these teams 1 through 10, 10 being the highest score. Which team do you like the most? Now, maybe you're going to be a little bit surprised, but the team that was voted the highest was team number 1, hashtag MyChubbHurts. That's the one with Jalen Hurts, Nick Chubb, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown. So they love that Hurts-Brown stack with Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller, Deontay Johnson. And on the bench, we had Antonio Gibson, Damian Harris, Nico Collins, Sky Moore, Tyler Higbee, and Jerome Ford. The team that was pretty freaking close to them, though, was team number 5, which was Sky's the Limit with Herbert, Jones, Pacheco, Kupp, Waddle, Njoku, and Deontay Johnson at the flex, with Dalvin Cook, A.J. Dillon, Michael Thomas, Sky Moore, Zeke Elliott, and Mike Gesicki on the bench. But I want to know what you think. Which one of these teams did you love the most? If you forgot what the hashtags were, go back and watch the video. You're supposed to be taking notes here, people. Taking notes and writing down your favorites. But I really recommend you doing something like this offseason for a lot of the players that you love, right? We go through a lot of videos all offseason long, and a lot of you take notes or really come to conclusions on players that you really like. Make a list of those players. Try to mock draft and try to collect as many of those guys as you possibly can on your fantasy football team. This is still a game meant to be fun, and you want to fill it with guys that you really believe in. The last thing you want is just to take some rando dude's word for it, draft a player who you really don't care for. He ends up sucking on your team, and you feel like you have someone else to blame. That is not fantasy football. Make those lists. Try to find the combinations that work best for what you like in 2023, and I guarantee you will become a better fantasy football player if you do so. But don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. 1,000 likes, I'm going to give away a free draft guide, so make sure you're hitting that like button, leaving those comments down below. I'm going to pay my son like $2 an hour to go through the comment section and count up hashtags. He's going to have a blast with that. But hey, I'm going to get out of here for the day. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day and do your part to make the world a better place.